how there is not really a conflict between improving safety and increasing productivity. We are going to review a little bit the Alcoa's case and see or go over some difficult safety issues and how that is related or to people's attitude, and it's a cultural thing that has a big impact too on families and a personal level, and even for the same company that is equal. We can say that equals sometimes money, because when there is accidents, what happens usually, we sue the company, so the company getting a lot of loss, so on and on and on. So our step number 1, we are going to start with a question that says, fire step Pancic. I don't know if I'm pronouncing well. So, and here says, we need to make two or three groups. I don't know if you went over that. But first, we have to begin asking that imagine you are Merton. Are you familiar with the case, the Alcoa's case, right? And says, imagine you are Merton and it's time for your 9 a.m. meeting with Stevens and Harris. What position would you advocate in the meeting if you were Merton? I don't know. Any volunteer?
So just to clarify, are we talking about the very last kind of case in the main body of the whole thing, where the electrician did something wrong and they're trying to decide if they should fire him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So what position you advocate in the meeting? You will be by Merton's side?
I would, because she's the safety, what is her job? The safety manager. I think I would go supporting like the company itself. I don't think, because she was informally invited, I would say, because the email was sent to Tevins or however you say his name, to Kurt, and he invited her to go. So I guess for me, it's not her place to really go there with an agenda, but to help support her supervisor.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's kind of a little bit of a tricky situation just for that reason. I think that her best move would be to like you said, to support the company's decision. But there is an issue with the people at the what's it called again? Alcoa.
Alcoa.
Yeah, Alcoa. There's obviously an issue. So, and her being the safety manager, I think that she should definitely support the company's decision, and then she's going to be asked what to do. So, yeah, I would follow that.
I think that's a very important role that she has in order to protect and cover the company's interest. That is I think her main role, I think. So, what did Pancic actually do, and how serious was the offense? Somebody familiar with that? Who was?
Well, from the email. Sorry, go ahead.
Who was Pancic? Do you know?
He's the supervisor. Let's see what it says. He was the supervisor over the electrician that did the repair and got hurt.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So actually in Exhibit 12, you kind of get a really good rundown on what happened. It's from Bert. It
The
says
memo.
Yep, it says last night Stepansic directed Carl Olson, an electrician, to repair an electrical conduit. The repair required Olson to work way too close to the pot line in the congested area. While making the repair, he slipped on some loose material and stuck out his hand to catch himself. In the fall, Olson suffered a second-degree burn to his hand and forearm and dislocated his shoulder. Stepansic is a good supervisor, and his crew is one of the best, but this is the third incident like this year. He should have never sent Olson in there without taking some precautions, etc., etc., etc.
Right. So thank you for that intro. And so what he actually did and how serious was the offense?
I think it was serious because he got hurt. I mean, it was, he physically got hurt and burned and was put in that position, but the whole job is, there's safety hazards everywhere. But I think the key thing is that it's happened under his watch several times, and that's, I don't know if it doesn't really say that there's been a.
So do you think was really his fault?
What's the words I'm looking for?
Well,
I don't know.
No?
I mean, it's someone's fault because, like the memo said, he had him working in a condition where it sounds like there's policies and procedures where Olson shouldn't have been working. So if Stepansic's the director and directly in charge of Carl Olson and making him do his job in an unsafe environment, then personally I believe then yes, it is his fault. I don't think Stepansic's the only one to blame. There's a lot of issues with just people in general at Alcoa, but as far as the question goes, I think he definitely is at fault for putting Olson in that situation as an electrician and his direct boss.
Right. To me, like the memo reveals, is not the first time. If were the first time, I will give him the credit of doubt. Now, on the other hand, I think sometimes human beings, we are animals of habits. So later on, we are going to see sometimes things like we are just following habits that we have, and sometimes we want to make shortcuts, or we want to be more comfortable, and sometimes in order to be comfortable, we miss the safety procedures.
Right.
So in this case, like the memo is showing that is the third time, I would say, because the question is it all Stepansic's fault? Well, I would say maybe 90% for me and 10% the other person, but that will be my answer.
I agree.
Okay.
I think he should be put on an improvement plan, or if something was, we don't know that he was prior to that with any other incident, but I guess he should really given a lot with the other incidents and how serious they were, but maybe an improvement plan or something. I don't know.
Right. Now, let's say he's fired. What will be the implications for workers, families, supervisors, and senior management if he's fired?
I think that if you're going to fire someone for this, then a lot of other jobs are definitely going to, you're going to have to review, because if you're going to fire someone's direct supervisor for making someone do work where they're injured, and that's going to be your standard procedure and protocol to fire someone, it's going to add, I think there could be a lot of negative repercussions for that, and maybe some positive. Maybe people will
Be more careful.
be more careful. But I think it will put a lot of people on edge as well. So I think there could be a number of things that could come from it.
Right.
I agree.
When they said families, well, in this case, STEM Pansic family will be definitely in some way be affected because he's going to be fired. So no
Yeah,
income
no job.
is going to be. So that will be one of the effects. Like you mentioned, Brett, other departments or other positions will be on the edge because we have to be fair. So if we are going to fire this person for A, B, and C reason, we need to make a review on the others ones, how they are doing. So maybe there are A, B, and C reasons as well. So they will be kind of like, okay, oh my goodness, I need to be more careful on my job, or I need to be more focused. I need to, take it more seriously because I don't want to be fired. But I already see that this can happen if I'm not really, walking on the right path. I think that will be one of the effects or implications.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that kind of reminds me of one of the motivation readings, where it kind of said if you get rid of the 5% that kind of drags the company down, then the rest of the workers will improve a lot more. The only issue here that I see is that we don't really know the whole thing. Like, we're very limited in the whole knowledge we have about this person.
Right.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
So, what message would firing Pansic send? I think we already talked about a little bit, so this question is kind of like a redundant. So, I don't know, somebody wants to add something else or just move on?
I think we covered
Yeah, I
it
think
all.
it's
Cover
pretty
that.
covered. I don't have anything to add.
Would it be fair to fire STEM Pansic considering how other supervisors treat safety issues? And I think, again, Brett, you talked a little bit about that, but if you want to just reconfirm.
Yeah, I think you could say it's fair if you're going to be consistent with this policy, and if you're going to set a policy or procedure in motion that follows it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Okay, now we are going into the step 2, which says what the data shows. In this part of the meeting, we have to divide in 3 groups and says at least minimum 2 persons per group. But
That's impossible.
that's impossible in our case. So I think, and you tell me if you agree, I was thinking just to do maybe 1 group or 2 groups.
We
One
could
group
do
and
one group, all of us, and just kind of go through the questions and
okay,
briefly
that's
touch
what I
on
was
each
that's what
group,
I was
maybe.
thinking. One group and all of us, because we are just 4 people. So are you
Yeah.
agree with that?
That sounds great.
Okay, so let's start with number 1, which says, and all of us, we have to go into our papers because we are going to need to make comparisons in the exhibits 3 and 7 to answer this question. So when safety improve, does productivity decrease? So let's find the data, and so let's go to the exhibit 3 and 7.
I think in Exhibit 7, it kind of shows how you can tell that safety improved because the serious injuries went down.
Mm-hmm. And here, give us an example that when we divide the work's total number for each period by the total hours, for the same period to figure out how many hours it takes to produce 1 ton of aluminum. So they gave us a 185.4 divided 7,400 is equal 39.9 hours per ton. So the smaller the number, the more productive the plant is. So, and is asking us do this calculation for each period. So I don't know if maybe we do just one period. What do you think?
Well, it definitely has to increase because in 1988 and 1989, oh, I guess well, never mind. I'll just do the math. I was going to rely on my head, but I could be wrong. 7602. So it's 37 in 1988, 37.2, 7788 divided by 2. So you want a smaller number, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so yeah, so it does decrease from 1988 to 89. It goes down by about 1 hour, a little bit less than an hour, about 0.7. And then, let's see here, I'll do 89, or 90, I'm sorry, 7475 divided by 209. Yeah, so it goes down from 1988 to 1990, it goes down about 1.7 hours.
Which is, I mean, when you multiply that for whatever amount of workers, that is considerable
Yeah.
company on money. So we can say and we can agree that with this statement that the smaller the number, the more productive the plant is. Right?
Right.
Okay. So now it says compare these numbers with the average safety incidents that we find that in Exhibit 7. And the lower the number of safety incidents, the better. Now, if both numbers go down, that's good. If either number is going up, that's bad.
So it's good because there's a direct correlation between the hours in Exhibit 3, how it decreased in 88, 89, and 90, and it also does in Exhibit 7. So I think it's safe to say that there's a direct correlation in safety leading to a better productivity.
Productivity, there you go. All right, so we can agree that those statements are correct, are true.
Yes.
Okay. Now, moving on to the step 3 on this discussion, says after 10 minutes, ask each group, in this case will be just our group, ourselves, the findings. What did you discover? What you find out? Let me see. Group 1, or this group, should to discover that as safety goes down, the number of hours to produce a ton also goes down. And I think we already did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So the question will be, are you surprised?
Yes, yes, because I would imagine that if people work really hard, they don't think about safety issues as much. I think if it's very efficient, people are very concentrated on getting work done and less about watching themselves or others.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, it's not the case.
Okay, number 2 is, did you think productivity would go down with increased safety? So if we increase the safety, do you think the productivity is going down?
I honestly, just thinking of that statement, you would think so because If you're focusing more on safety and just the well-being of employees, you'd think that that would lead to a little bit more of a, when I was reading the case, I thought that they would be wasting a little bit more time, which would lead for productivity to go down also, just because you're allocating a certain amount of time in your workday somewhere else, so productivity would go down. But I was surprised in the case when it talked about how they spent less time fixing vehicles and other things, so they were able to increase productivity. So that did surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
agree with Brett. I was just going to say that it's you would think that the productivity would go down because they're more focused on being, safe about every single thing they do, and that's where their concern and worry is, and not with the product. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree.
All right. So, which type of problem do you think is easiest to solve? That ones that are expensive or that ones that involve people's behavior, and why? To me, the tough problem is when involves people's behavior, and I see that because I can see in my on a daily basis at work, uh, people comes with habits, and sometimes you are open mind to be flexible and adaptable, but sometimes there are people that they think they are right, even though they are wrong. They think they are right, and when you want to show them maybe, hey, let's do it this in this efficient way, they don't agree, and maybe they can say, oh yeah, yeah, okay, okay, and then you turn around and you see they are doing their way, and sometimes it's not the most efficient, actually can be dangerous, or actually is taking you taking more time, which means it's gonna make your job be delayed, since we are in the same team, because I have to wait for her, to do her job in her way, plus not saying or mention that she's getting my nerves, but again, I have to calm down. So it's a lot of, for me, it's tough when you have to, when you are working with people's behavior. That's why it's tough for me. I mean,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, you can pay money to fix something. There's always ways to raise money and to get money and to make money, but you can't fix people.
Correct.
It's like there's it's impossible if someone doesn't want to do something. Maybe you could with money. I don't know, but I feel like
Money
there's
talks, yeah, sometimes.
yeah,
But again,
exactly.
said, I think it's easier. Okay, I'm gonna program this computer or this machine. Let's say I'm gonna program this machine to lift uh, no more than 50 pounds a day. And I know the machine is gonna do that over and over and over again. And I don't have to ask her how she's feeling. I don't have to see if she's having a bad attitude. Oh, Desi, good. You'll come back. So we miss you for a minute. So it's easy working with machines that there is human beings. We are so complicated,
Hmm.
or sometimes we complicate our life more than what is supposed to be. So yeah, you're right. I completely agree. People's behavior is the toughest or is the hardest area to work. So now, what challenges are Mission Valley up against?
I think maybe motivating each and every employee to make some little sacrifices in order to make it more safe. What I really
Mhm.
was surprised about is was people not wanting to take off their rings when they operate on machinery.
Mhm.
Because to me, it always seems like it's a lot easier to replace and probably a lot cheaper to replace a lost ring than a lost finger. And so if a lot of or some of the people just don't want to drive slower or don't want to do the little things, I think there has to be like a change in attitude, and that will probably take a while and be really hard to accomplish.
Yep. What are specific things that Mission Valley done that were successful?
I think as far as their like the supervisor program, I think that's a good start, and I think that they are finding some success from it. It's all being able to get people to perform more safely when they're being supervised is a good step, and you would think that as you put more, I guess, more emphasis on safety, and as the workers think more consciously about safety, that it should transition to that they'll use more safety precautions as they work. So I think that's a good program to in the right direction. I know the case said that they're probably only doing it when they're being watched, but you would hope that that program would convert into them being thinking of safety more often than not.
Hmm. And do you think that doing more of these things will help them move the rest of the way toward their goal?
I think so. Sorry, my computer kind of crashed on me again. But I think it does because it gets people thinking about safety more, I guess. And I guess it doesn't have to be your whole focus, but they all understand that where they work at that plant, it
Mhm.
is safety is a huge issue, and I think they just get too into the routine of, we've been here forever, we know what we're doing kind of thing. And
Right.
with that in place and just knowing that you're being watched, I think would help you be more cautious of those things. And I think it would improve and help
Uh,
them reach their goal.
yeah, you're right. What are the challenge for the future? Do you think there will be any challenge?
I think it's the people is the biggest challenge, getting them to do the tedious things. There's a lot of things it sounds like from the case that um, a lot of people don't like the changes as far as like the wedding ring. There's a few other things that I think that the people are just kind of annoyed about. It goes back to what Desi said about they've been doing it for so long that they kind of feel like they know what they're doing. They don't need someone in HR to tell them about safety. So I think getting the actual workers to take it more seriously and really think about it and do it is the biggest challenge.
And goes a little bit sometimes of pride. That is something that I can see at work. It's funny because sometimes the person has, I don't know, over 10, 15 years working in that company, and then there she is, a new rookie that is maybe half of my age, telling me what to do. Really? I mean, who you are, so it's a little ego, a little pride, a little kind of like a, don't tell me what to do. You are just, first of all, I can be your mother. Second, you are a rookie. Third, I have more years. So it's very challenging dealing with human beings, habits, um, and personalities, definitely. So how do you convince people to behave differently?
Ooh.
We got it. We got it. That is hard. Now, now we need to maybe have any ideas how we can persuade them to behave differently.
I
Any idea?
think if it affects them personally, then it means more to them. Like the deaths that happened, if it happens in their plant or that it's close to them, then it affects them more
Mm-hmm.
than others. It's like, oh, there's another death, or, it doesn't really affect them if they're not personally involved in some way or another.
Right. What would motivate workers to want to be safe? Because there is a difference on I have to and I want. So when you use that, to me, says, okay, I want to be safe. I want to be careful with for my own safety, means you are being intentional.
Mhm.
But when you say, oh, all right, okay, I will take off my ring because the stupid supervisor is going to say something to me again, you are not really getting the point. You are not being intentional. You don't have a clarity on your mind that there is a reason for everything. So what can motivate me to have that better attitude, saying, I really want to be safe. How can I learn? How can I be more careful? So what can motivate me?
I think incentives, or but like some of our other reading material and the videos we watched this week, or how do you keep people motivated and want to be there, and what is their personal satisfaction out of it? And I think you have to feed that and find what it is within their organization and company, to keep that drive in those people to want to be there and grow. But some kind of incentives, like they said, she had some ideas, for her 2-year plan, or her goals was, to kind of treat them to dinner, or whatever, give them something to look forward to when they reach goals and stuff.
Yeah. Any lesson that we can learn from the incident about the forklift speed limit or the wedding ring? What will be the moral lesson or lesson life?
Something that I just took away was just the importance of following like even the smallest safety precautions. Like I was just thinking about the death that started at the beginning. There were so many things that contributed to the death. It talked about how there was noise, there was blocking of vision for the driver. There's just so many different things, and it made me think how if even one of those small little details would have been looked at or considered, that he might still be alive. So that was the biggest thing for me from the case, was just even the smallest procedures can make the biggest difference.
Correct. You got it right. Yep, definitely. So, for example, if we have to talking, this ask your team members whether they always follow these safety procedures. For example, do you always wear the seat belts?
Yes.
Be honest.
Yes,
Always.
I always do. I used to not.
I don't. To be honest with you, not always. Really, is so uncomfortable. I don't know if it's something cultural, but in my country, now I know they are reinforcing this the same because, of course, after so many deaths. But when I was living, I'm talking about maybe 20 years ago, we didn't use that. I mean, or the authorities never reinforced this. So to me, all the time having something in here is on my neck, and plus I'm petite, so when I'm driving, the thing is, I feel like it's so uncomfortable. But so it's not always. So when I read this question, I was like, really? So, well, good for you that you follow this procedure. I'm just so committed to myself to be more obedient and do it more often. So, do you avoid texting in dangerous places, or just you text when you are in the red light?
I do sometimes at the red light, I must say.
Yeah. What are dangerous places?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's a big, broad
I'm gonna
question.
say I always follow it because I'm always safe.
Maybe when you
Yeah.
are in the when you are in the expressway, that will be a dangerous place. So
Yeah.
not even
There's
to
not
give a
expressways
glance.
in Rexburg, Idaho, so I think I'm good.
Yeah. What about when you cross at crosswalks?
Oh
Do
yeah.
you are careful? Do you take your time to look left and right and wait, or you are always in a hurry, or you are with your headphones? I mean, these these questions are kind of like a maybe obvious or dumb questions, but when you start just kind of like a breaking down, and you're like a, oh, but many times I'm with my headphones, I'm thinking, I'm just watching my blinking phone or whatever, and it really takes our concentration on the what really matters. Like you just mentioned, Brett, sometimes it's just little tiny procedures, but can cause big consequences. No?
Yeah.
What about use a ladder instead of a chair? Yeah, that's me.
No,
Sure,
I use a chair.
you use it. That's what I do too. That's what I.
I don't climb anything that high, so.
And if you
Yeah.
see, why, Desi, why do you rather to use a chair instead to a ladder? Why?
Because I'm not tall, but I have monkey arms and legs, and I can reach things. And just grabbing a chair is so much easier than going out to the garage and getting a ladder.
Okay, you got the point. So it's a little for me. I'm thinking like you. Um, the ladder is heavy. Is
Yeah.
longer and taller than me. It's in the garage, so means I have to go downstairs because my house is kind of like a split level. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm so lazy for that, and I'm tired. But so I'm not following the right procedure. Because let me tell you, I took the stool and I almost fell. That was last week. So my husband said, why you don't call me and say, okay, I got it, that you're tired and you don't want to go and get it. But if you felt and something happened, it's going to be worse because I have to run to the ER or whatever. If you just cut yourself. So, and it's funny, that is at home. But when you ask me why I rather to get a chair, it's just because I'm lazy. Bottom line, I mean, easier. So that's the same concept that we apply from home and we transport to work. Again, we come back from the same topic, which is habits.
Yeah.
You
And
see?
like the crossing at crosswalks, what I take from it is I grew up in a small town, so
Uh-huh.
there's no such thing as jaywalking. You just walk across the street. Even if it's the main street where there's a highway, you just walk across the street. So when I go to big cities and where I live now, it's hard for me to walk to the crosswalk and cross the street because it takes too much time.
Right. And
I
again,
just want to cross right here.
and it's faster and it's
It
easier.
is.
And again, we are coming back to the most comfortable
Yeah,
phone. And not always the comfortable and the faster and the easiest is the right way,
exactly.
right? Again, and the other question is drive the speed limit.
I
We,
plead the
I,
fifth.
I'm pretty sure we have A, B, and C reasons to go faster. But again, is safe to do it? So yeah, answer yourself.
Yeah, we just won't answer that because this is going to be within our community and we'll just keep it to ourselves.
Yes.
Everybody can watch this.
There you go. So, uh, towards Linda's plan for 1992, um, which ones will help get the company to its goal?
I think the incentives she talked about, I think that would help, that like I talked about earlier. I don't have them in front of me. Let me pull them up here.
So we have kind of like a, just for you guys, think which ones will help get the company to its goal and which ones maybe won't help much. So we have two ways.
I think that the newsletter won't be very effective just because, I don't know, I know a lot of people who just don't read them. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you get
Yep.
a newsletter, you just delete it. So
Yep.
I don't think that would help much. Maybe if you put like big posters up, something like that, like we're proud about our safety or something like that, but
Uh-huh.
nobody really reads those.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the worst idea. Whenever I feel like if I saw something like that, I would just either not look at it or delete it.
Or
So
delete it, right? Just ignore it. I mean, we don't have time for that. um, and what maybe won't help much?
I don't think improving safety committees because, people have that attitude, I already know what I'm doing. Why do we need
Uh-huh.
to listen to more people? And they already have information. I know more information is always good and there's always information that comes out better, but I don't know that it'll help these people
Mm-hmm.
unless you can change them. It's that personal thing and we can't change people.
Right. Something maybe that you consider that is missing from the list? Do you think there is something that is missing or not really?
I think that she should add, I guess, policies and procedures of fire of termination
Mm-hmm.
within, um, because it sounds like I don't know if firing Stepanik was part of, if they already have a procedure on that, but being clear on what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing, whether they're going to fire anybody um, who's the supervisor of an incident, that seems a little bit extreme. So I think being able to have a clear policy and procedure on what to do when handling those kind of cases would be
Beneficial.
important to have. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, and then almost finishing our meeting will be you could ask whether the fact that almost everyone in the whole towns works at Mission Valley creates any opportunities. Are there ways to involve the community or families?
I think maybe if you would find out who the authority figures are in a community, because sometimes people have a lot of respect for pastors or bishops or mayors or just certain individuals who are kind of in charge. And if you would get them on your side, that could help maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good. All right. Any other idea?
Not
And
me.
we can move on. And our last step and final wrap up and feedback I need from you is number one, what did you learn from taking about this case that would you apply for future workplaces?
So something that stood out for me from the case, as far as everything else, was just about the importance of company culture. I think that the company culture is one of the biggest problems. That kind of proud attitude of we've been doing it for so long, we don't need to change or focus on what we're doing. I think that that's something very dangerous. So personally, I want to be in a workplace that has a better company culture as
Mm-hmm.
far as change and innovation and safety from Alcoa.
Yeah. Correct. Um, mm, says, ask each team member to rate the overall quality of today's discussion from 0 to 10. And you don't need to be nice and you don't need to be sweet. Just say it.
10.
From
10, yeah.
10.
All right. What did you as a discussion leader ask what you did as a discussion leader that they like it? Again, don't be nice. I mean, just maybe I talk too much.
No, I like how you always bring in something that examples of your personal life, that helps understand, questions and what they're trying to ask and stuff. So I like how you involve yourself as well as the leader.
Okay, well, thank you. And what do you think if you have any suggestion for me to do better next time, if there is something?
I don't have any suggestions.
Maybe bring candy. I don't know.
If you
Yeah,
can
that's a good
somehow
one.
fit a cookies and cream Chick-fil-A milkshake
Yeah.
through my boot camp,
Yes.
Okay, I'll take that in consideration. Guys. Okay, that's good. All right, guys. So I think that's all for tonight. And thank you so much for your participation, your interactive attitude. And we'll see next week. So we can plan next week who's going to be our leader, or you prefer just let us know during the week who's going to be the next leader for the next meeting.
I have to travel next week, so.
So maybe Rebecca?
I can do it, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so deal. And again, just quickly to confirm that we have until Saturday, 2 o'clock to add something in the document. And our technician guy, Mr. Brett, he's going to put it up and load it for us. I really appreciate it, Brett. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
no problem.
Without you, I don't know, I cannot, the technology
No
part
problem.
is still being a big obstacle on me. All right, guys, so good night and thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks.
All right.